Kevin Durand. Sarah Gadden. Paul Giamatti. Robert Pattinson. And of course, the director, David Cronenberg.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah, we said. Okay, we said. Where to begin?
The beginning?
That's a good place. How did the movie come apart? What attracted you to the book?
It was a Portuguese producer named Paulo Branco who came to Toronto, and he said, I have the option on this book by Don DeLillo. And he handed it to me, and I said, okay, I'll read it, because I've read Don before, but not this particular book. I hadn't heard of it. And 2 days later, I phoned him and said, yeah, I would really like to make a movie out of this book. That's how it started. That was about 3.5 years ago. I actually wrote the script of it before I shot A Dangerous Method.
And how did you come to assemble this amazing cast?
Stumbled onto it by accident. Sometimes they phoned me and begged me, you know, and they often bribed me with gifts, usually not money, not cash. Well, it's you know, you build up a movie piece by piece, you know, and it's a long process, and it begins in the most simple way, which is, you know, you say, okay, the leading actor is in every scene. How old is the character, you know? And then you say, and he's a New Yorker, and he has a particular accent, so you have to have an actor who could do a New York accent, and a lot of American actors can't even do that. So you start to cross off the names off the list, and finally you end up with Rob, you know. He was the only man left standing afterwards. It's a bit like that, and it's the same. But then, you know, once you have the lead, and in this case, it's crucial because he is in every scene, obviously, and that's unusual. There are very few movies that really work that way, even ones with big stars. So it means that you have to start with that actor, and then you build the cast around him. You know, just the tone, the age, everything else, the feel on screen.
And what attracted everyone to their characters and being part of the movie? Rob?
Well, I thought my character was terribly attractive. I was just aroused at the idea of playing a psychopath. And, no, it was more just I heard David was interested in hiring me, and I was available. So I was very excited by that, and Don DeLillo, and then I read the script, and I mean, it's a very long, meaty scene, and you don't get that kind of thing a whole lot. So, you know, that was part of it. Sarah?
I had finished A Dangerous Method. David and I worked together, and it was like January, and I was feeling depressed and in withdrawal because I thought I'll never make another movie with such a great filmmaker. And then he called and asked me to be a part of Cosmopolis, and I ran around my house and was really excited. So that's how I came on board.
I bribed him.
You also threatened me.
Well, where I'm from, that's what bribing is. No, I auditioned, and I was terrified, and I did an awesome audition, and I got the movie, and I did a happy joy dance, and I came do the dance.
Do the dance.
It's an R-rated dance, but yeah, and then I got to play with all these wonderful people, and yeah, that's me. How about you, Emily?
I too was one of those ones who bribed and begged and didn't pay cash because I'm a Canadian actor and we don't have that. I too auditioned with myself. I actually didn't have a reader. I didn't have a friend, so I auditioned with myself.
You did both parts? Were you reading both parts?
I did both parts. I changed the voice on my iMovie. And I got cast.
Good for you.
Given the long gestation of a movie, 3.5 years, you said it's amazing how well the movie speaks to the current moment that we live in.
Well, when you think that actually the book was written about 12 years ago, it's more remarkable. But, you know, that wasn't really what attracted any of us to it. It wasn't like, wow, we're going to make a movie that addresses the current financial crisis and the dissolution, possibly, of the Eurozone. Because that's really boring, you know, in terms of movie making. But, in fact, it had much more for me to do with just, the character, the idea of a character who has managed to abstract himself from life so completely that he's just completely in his head and in his limo and disconnected from everything else. And when he leaves the limo, he doesn't know how to talk to his wife, and he doesn't know how to order dinner, and he keeps saying, this is how people talk to each other, isn't it? Because he really doesn't know. That was fascinating to me. So even without it being relevant, in terms of news items, it was something I wanted to do. But yes, it was bizarre that we would, Paul texted me and said, I can't believe this, but Rupert Murdoch just got a pie in the face. And we had just shot the scene where Rob gets a pie in the face. So, and yes, the Occupy Wall Street movement was happening as we were shooting the equivalent in the movie. And that was very bizarre. We started to think, are we making a documentary or are we making a fiction film, So really, it didn't derail us. It didn't change what we did, but it did give it a kind of a poignancy and a potency, that it wouldn't have had otherwise.
And Rob, how do you understand your character? What kind of guy is he?
Let's get the most impossible question.
The key is he doesn't understand the character, and he never did. That's perfect. Because Paul says, let me just rescue you here just for one moment. Paul's character says, quoting St. Augustine, he says, I have become an enigma unto myself, and therein lies my sickness. And that's exactly this character. He doesn't understand himself.
There's your answer. Wonderful. Thank you.
That's why he's the director. And I'm just a whore.
But you can say something else if you want. I have to just say that Rob has been answering basically that question for the last 3 weeks in many countries. So
I'd still not been able to answer it at all. So I might as well, this is the last night, so you guys just got the short straw. I don't know anything. Don't know anything at all.
That's why he's really good.
I don't claim to know anything either.
Well, shall we open it up to the to audiences? Questions from the audience. We have mics at the sides here. If you can please step up to the mic, take your cue, please. Oh, well, I can keep asking. There we go.